What is the difference between economic growth and economic development?
Sir, I'm not sure about the exact difference, but if I'm allowed to guess,
Okay,
sir, I
allowed.
believe that in terms of growth, we look at the GDP, the total amount of money that is earned by a country through internal and external sources. That is,
That is GDP. Okay, carry on.
and sir, development in that reference would mean that, sir, I'll go and read upon it. I'm
Okay, do
having a
read
little
about it
clarity. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
because you must know about economy. Which is the most important economic problem of Pakistan according in your view?
Sir, I believe that Pakistan is currently facing three major economic problems.
I'm just asking you one. Okay. And then
Sir,
speak about that for 1 minute.
Sir, that one would be our trade deficit, because I believe that this is one thing. If we can focus on our trade deficit and we focus on addition of value to our exports, through this we can revive back our
Before
economy.
that, first methodology should be define what is trade deficit. Number
Sure, sir.
one. Number two, how much deficit is in Pakistan, and then how can we overcome it? This
Sure, sir.
should be the order of your answer.
Sir, so the trade deficit, it's defined as the difference between the value of the exports and the value of the imports that a country does in a particular period of time, that is usually 1 year.
Okay.
So the trade deficit of Pakistan is $24.1 billion for fiscal year 2023. And sir, the major reason for that is
The
that
figures which you are quoted from where you have got it
sir, the economic survey of Pakistan.
from. Okay.
Sir, and the major reason for that is that in terms of our exports, we have a very limited export base, that we limit only, for example, that our 50% of the export is sent to only 6 and 7 countries of the world.
Okay.
And second of all is that the 70% of our exports are made by only three major export products,
For
which
example,
sir, the cotton. Second is
cotton in raw form,
sir, cotton and cotton textiles.
textile garments.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, second is the leather products, and the third one is rice.
Third one is rice. Okay. And what about imports?
Sir, in terms of imports, our imports have we imports usually machineries, and not only from machineries, from the goods of high complexity to even the minute level of goods are being exported from different regions of the world. That is why we are facing this deficit.
Okay. You have studied psychology.
Yes, sir.
What is narcissist personality disorder?
So, the narcissistic personality disorder, as the word clearly suggests, that this is a disorder in a person where a person starts believing in the superiority of his self, and is more pleased with his
Okay,
capabilities and
this was a
qualities.
very preliminary or elementary question. He is considered as a priest of individualism or individual liberty and representative democracy. Please explain this phrase or this sentence.
Sir, the major this concept associated with J.S. Mill is because he gave the concept of libertarianism, and through libertarianism he explained how liberty and freedom.
Libertarianism. It's first time it's not this word. Okay, carry on.
Sir, in terms that
Carry on.
yes, sir. So the rights being granted to people are the major thing that J.S. Mill focuses on, due to which he's known as also known as the father of liberal ideas.
What about the second part?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall.
Recall the question or answer?
Sir, answer.
Answer. Okay. Empiricism and rationalism. Differentiate between these two.
Sir, empiricism is a concept of political science that deals with the ideas or the concepts based on experiences and observation. And this concept was given by Aristotle. Aristotle in the beginning, he was an empiricist. And the second part of the question, rationalism, that is to see the world through rational ideas. to have reason associated with everything in the world. That is rationalism.
Okay. Enlightenment. Mention main features of that period. It is
So,
also called as age of reason. Okay? Or explain.
Sir, the Enlightenment region or the Enlightenment era in the European history is the one where the reason was introduced over the traditional method of looking at the natural world. And at that time, the power of the church was reduced because reason was considered more important than theological thoughts. Number one. Number second was it was a philosophical era where various philosophers of different intellectual ferment made sure to introduce different ideologies. For example, most important philosophers of that era would include Voltaire, Rousseau, Locke, and Montesquieu. Along with that, the third of all would be that the power of church was curbed, as the question or the statement that kings at that time had the divine right to rule, that was being questioned and challenged.
And what was the difference between Renaissance and this term?
Sir, the Renaissance and Enlightenment differ in term that,
Or
sir, the Renaissance is mostly limited to the era where there was intellectual, cultural, and
cultural.
so the word cultural is different between both of them.
Discuss four theories of punishment.
Sir, the four theories of punishment would include number one, that for retribution, the number second, incapacitation, number third, deterrence, and sir, the number fourth, I'm unable to recall.
Okay. Political science. Plato's ideal state is based on his theory of justice
Yes, sir.
and theory of education.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with this? If so, explain both these theories.
Yes, sir. So, sir, ideal state, which was termed as Callipolis by Plato, he connected it both with his theory of justice and with education,
Okay.
because in his book Republic, he mentioned that justice would be served in a society when the tripartite theory of the soul, that is one of the element of the soul, is dominant. For example, if reason is dominant in a person, then he would become a philosopher in a society. If the appetitive part is dominant, then that person would become the producer, and if the courageous part is dominant, then that person would become a auxiliary. So he believes that in theory of justice, the that the justice would only be served in a society when these people work in a society according to their dominant trait. That is the theory of specialization or specialized justice. So he relates it with his concept
Balance
of,
must be maintained between these
yes, sir,
three. Otherwise, injustice in the society would occur.
will occur.
Okay.
And sir, he relates it with the concept of ideal state. That ideal state would be the one in which the philosopher kings who have the reason part dominant in them would be the leaders.
Okay, and what about theory of education?
Sir, in theory of education, he based his theory of education on the Spartan, after being inspired from the Spartan education system. And in that, he gave certain reasons regarding to education system. That number one, it should be state controlled. Number second, it should be lifelong. And number third, it should align the ideas of or the thought process of the younger generations with the needs of the state. And through his when he gives the
The
classification,
third one,
so the third one is that the ideas.
intellectual and physical development of a person.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir. So when he explains the further division of the theory of education,
Okay.
sir, Kushab is known for its sweet waters, and number second, one very famous thing is Doda.
Doda,
Yes,
Doda,
sir.
nice. That's right. Kya you like sports? You
Yes,
play
sir.
sports?
Yes,
Which
sir.
one?
Sir, badminton and table tennis are
Table
my
tennis
main.
कहाँ तक खेला आपने?
Sir, at division level in CM competitions.
So did you win some prizes? You were the
Yes, sir.
winner.
Sir, both in badminton and in table tennis, I've won till division levels, and in my university for continuous 5 years, I've won medals.
Very good. So you still play or you have left playing?
Sir, table tennis I still play, but other than that, my other sports were basketball and netball as well.
Very good, very
That I
good,
have skipped
very
for
good.
quite a
Keep
while.
it up, keep it up. So कितने की गेम होती है टेबल टेनिस में आजकल?
Sir, the sets of these games vary from game to game. So the
कितने
ones,
पॉइंट्स की होती है रेशो?
sir, the one I play is of 25 of three sets each. Sir, 15, 10, and 25. It depends that what sort of game you're playing. Sir, sir,
इंटरनेशनल बता रहा हो, बताए ना.
sir, it depends. 15. Usually it's 15 when we play at university level.
देखिए ना, इंटरनेशनल जो रूल है वो 10 पॉइंट का चल रहा है आजकल. तो ये आप याद रखिएगा, आपने ये 25-15 वाली बात नहीं करनी वहाँ.
Sure, sir.
जो चल रही है अच्छा ये बताएं कि ये जो इस्लामिक स्टेट का कॉन्सेप्ट है, व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस टुडे द मॉडर्न टाइम्स ऑफ इस्लामिक स्टेट?
Sir, currently the most important challenge that Islamic states are facing, number one, Islamophobia. Number two, the extremism that is being associated with these Islamic state, not with Islam itself. And sir, these two would be the major reasons.
How public opinion is made and how it can be measured?
Public opinion is shaped by various resources. So number one would be, so the sources in that term would be the print media, the social media, and the mainstream media. And the methods through which it can be made would be through speeches, or through articles, or through books. So through, and in terms of measurement, the public opinion can be measured through referendums, through elections, or through their opinions on social media, or through polling.
Do you think the media is today independent in Pakistan?
Sir, I believe that in the current situation, the media is not being able to exercise its elements or its powers freely. So that is still a question mark.
Media plays an important role for projecting the culture and civilization of any country. To what extent do you believe our media has been successful?
Sir, I believe that our media has slightly been deviated from the right line, and for that reason, our culture is being mixed with both the Indian and the Western culture, and that is one cue that needs to be corrected in the mainstream media.
That's all?
Sir, along with that, if I have to mention more, that media is one of the most formal prerequisites of democracy. In that term, the media needs to be very vigilant in terms to be the watchdog of the cultural growth and the societal ills as well.
Okay, strong political system requires strong political economy.
Yes, sir.
कोई बताएं इसके बारे में.
Sir, both political stability and the economy are interconnected with each other, and this can be represented in terms that the foreign direct investment of our country in fiscal year 2023 was around $1.2 billion only.
And with special reference to China and Malaysia.
Yes, sir. And that political instability leads to short termism. And that short termism means that the policies are not carried out for the longer period of time. For that, the investors do not have the trust on both the government and on the country in terms that if they carry on with the deal, would it reach the end of it or not? Or would they keep on changing the policies over and over again? And that is one reason that our deals with the Malaysia and China both are being affected.
The woman empowerment in the 21st century, do you think more powers have been given to the almost 50% of our society in Pakistan? Can you cite few laws, regulations, or in constitutional amendments made to empower the women in Pakistan?
Sir, I'm not sure about the amendments, but if I have to give a general overview of the rights being granted to
Like I
women,
would say, such certain acid throwing, like kidnapping, rapes, and this punishment has been about almost secured in the constitution of Pakistan. So you must know few of those from how in the 21st century, in particular in Pakistan, the powers have been given to empower the women in Pakistan, specifically with those given in the Constitution of Pakistan.
sure, sir.
PPC also like 376 and other like that. अच्छा अब ये बताएं कि आप इस वक्त पाकिस्तान की वज़ीर आज़म है. What are your three important steps as a prime minister, as taking over as a PM? What immediately three action you will do?
Sir, number one, I would make sure that the current elections are going. If I have to be the prime, then I would be the caretaker prime minister.
Hey,
In that,
apart from this, you just know, I'm not talking about any election. I'm saying you have taken over a country of Pakistan. What important three steps you will take?
sir, number one would be to, if I have to divide them, then the first would be internationally. I would try to bring back all old friends and try to establish better relation with the countries that could benefit the country in longer term. For example,
Improving foreign policy, you mean?
yes, sir.
And then?
Sir, number second would be to focus on our economic strength. Then, in that term, I would specifically focus on IT incentivization because through IT exports, we can improve our export sector and reduce our trade deficit as well. And we can through that we could provide employment and
Okay, and number three?
and sir, number third would be I would make sure to take steps towards education, to improve educational structure, to allocate more funds to education because I believe the basic structure that can build up a country is education.
Of course, counting, political instability in the country, this terrorism and all that, that would be also, of course, a very important thing. Thank you very much, please.
Once Scotland became the part of England or the UK.
Sir, I believe that it was in 707. That was an act of settlement.
Okay. Tell important features of French Revolution.
So the 10 important features of French Revolution in terms of causes and in terms of results. So in terms of causes, I believe the number one was the administrative causes. That was the despotic rule of the Louis XVI at that time. Second of all was the rotten administrative structure. That was that more than 400 laws were being in different areas of France were being implemented at that time. Number third were the costly wars, the 7-year war at that time period. Sir, in social causes, in the economic causes, I believe the heavy taxation at that time in terms of the tailies, the tithis, the winchtimies, and the corvée taxes. And sir, the grievances of the classes, different classes that existed in France at that time. The rise of the bourgeoisie class was very important. That led to increased grievances. Sir, in terms of social causes, were that the clergy and the nobility were superseding the third estate class.
Tell briefly in 2 or 3 sentences about the sum up of COP28 and why it was held in the UAE and the controversies.
Sir, the three major features of COP28 that happened in Dubai this year. The number one would be that the loss and damage fund was operationalized, and it was decided that for first few years, World Bank would be the interim host for the countries who would apply in the loss and damage fund. Number second was that the stock stakes which was introduced in the Paris Peace Conference of 2015, was further specified that was to end in the COP28, in which the nationally determined contribution NDCs were to be assessed whether they could lead to.
Why the UAE became controversial in holding the.
Sir, because the major thing that was being focused in COP28 was the transitioning out of the fossil fuels, and UAE and this entire Middle East region is the one that contributes to most production of oil and natural gas. So that is why it became controversial. And this was delayed for quite longer period of time because there was a debate on transitioning out of the fossil fuels or phase out of fossil fuels.
Which city was notorious for smoke earlier in the past?
So two major cities were famous for smoke earlier: Los Angeles and London. Both London had sulfurous smoke, and Los Angeles had photochemical smoke.
You are, I think, Malik Awan.
Yes, sir.
Who were Awans?
Sir, Awans is one of the. Sir, the origin of Awan tribes is associated with the lineage of Hazrat Ali, and in this subcontinent region, during the time of British era, uh, this is when they became more famous. And sir, in Pakistan, most of the northern regions have Awans.